Okay, welcome back to David's podcast. So in this tutorial, we've got our development environment set up to do instant gratification. As we make a change to the client side, we'll see it instantly on our web server. We're using Node.js just to quickly spin up. Actually, we're using Live Server. We use the VS Code live server environment, but then we went back to our traditional editor. So you don't have to use Visual Studio Code, but the plugin was awesome for being able to just spin up a quick Node server. And actually, it's not even a Node server, it's just a VS Code extension. I think it is a Node server, but it's an extension to VS Code that allows us to just hot fix our site. So what we're going to do is I basically asked AI, so if I go to Google, Google gives you the best answers, I noticed. I tried PoAI and it gave me some buggy code. But Google, if I just say, can you write me some HTML code that implements drag and drop ordered list? It gives you the HTML, the CSS, and the JavaScript. There's 3 programming language required or that work together to create a web page. And traditionally what developers have done is you just copy these examples and then start implementing in your JSP file if you're using Java, your ASP file if you're using Microsoft, or your PHP file if you're using Apache, and then you would implement the code that way. But the problem is that you end up with a whole bunch of gobbledygook code. So what you want to do is you want to modularize. You want to basically think of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript working together. So you want to componentize those 3 different languages into one. And we're going to use JavaScript because it's the most obvious choice. So we're going to use template literals to make our code clean and readable. And then we're going to extend from the HTML element class. So what you do when you're coding with AI is you first get the result that you're looking for. So this is the perfect order list that I want. Unfortunately, I kind of try to make it neat. I separated everything out into its own components, and the code is quite clean this way. But what we want to do is we want to combine them. So we want to get AI to help us with that. So what I recommend is use AI to first generate what you want, and then what you do is you dive deeper into AI mode, and then you ask it to, can you take this code and have it render from a JavaScript class that extends from HTML element, including the CSS styles into the class. So it's very specifically asking it for what I want. I had some trouble when I combined some things like this before, but let's see if it can produce what we want. So here we go, a sortable list right here. So this is exactly what we want. We want this JavaScript sortable list file. So let's see if we can copy this. Now, one thing I'll add is it says use code with caution. So when you're doing this iterative approach, what I recommend is commenting out the previous version and saving the backups so you don't lose the backups. That way, if you need to revert back and just cherry pick aspects of what did work, because as things get more and more complicated, AI can royally screw up your solution. And if you're overriding it every time, you're going to be throwing the baby out with the bathwater, as they say. You want to cherry pick and pick the parts that work and discard the parts that don't. So they use the same name here, unfortunately. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if this works. So this, let's just call this, we save this then as, oh, that's not it. Let me copy this. So I'm just going to call this Google sortable list. So let's call this Google sortable list. Okay, so we've got our JavaScript now. Let's see if it works. So I want to include, so I'm just going to copy what they've given us. Let's go back to our page. If I go ahead and include the new sortable list from Google, so we called it Google sortable list, then to use it, you now have a custom element that you've designed for sortable list functionality. And theoretically, you can just include that directly into your page. Now, I forgot to do one thing, is make it data-driven. So here's where I noticed AI kind of diverged a little bit. It partially gave me the right answer, but then made a mistake. So now I'm going to go back and let's look at our page. I guess we've changed it quite a bit here, so it didn't hot fix the way that I had hoped. Oh, we have to change this to Google. Maybe it will if I put in Google sortable list. There. So there's the hot fix. Now, see if it works. It does. So that's pretty awesome. It even has the styles preserved exactly how we want. Now, this is almost perfect. I could almost end the video here, but let's look at one more thing we want to change. So let's say you want to change now, here we have hard-coded the items. So here's where I had trouble before. So let's ask, can you improve this code so that the list items are being passed into the class using a data attribute? Okay, so this is exactly what we want now. So we want to take these data items and pass them in as a data attribute. It's perfect. So I'll go back to our code and see if we can add that. So I add the data attribute, and you know how to code this already from one of our previous videos. And then I just have to copy over the class. And remember, we renamed it to Google sortable list. So let's go back to ours. Now here's where I'm recommending that you back this up. So let me delete some of these comments, and then I can comment out the whole class. So if we back this up, because we might paste the new improvement, update the names, and basically all it should have done was update the render here. Oops, I don't think I copied it correctly. This one. It should have updated the... That didn't work. Oh no, that's the old one. Where's the new one? Oh, the new one's down here. Okay, yeah, here. Here it update the render with this, the items. So it's going through JSON, it converts it to JSON and then renders it. So this might work actually. So let me try this. So you're applying a kind of iterative approach to the web development process. Make this the Google sortable list. Google sortable list. And now Google sortable list. If I save it, look at our page. I'll just refresh in case. It still works. So now we have, just double check that it is showing us the correct code by doing an AI example. There it is. So now we have a nice clean sortable list providing external data to our own custom. We've basically extended the HTML DOM language to include our own data types. So it's very React worthy. And the next step is that we could include the minification of this standard JavaScript file as part of our build pipeline. But for now, I just wanted to show you how you can use Live Server to do hotfix updates on your HTML, and then use AI to apply an iterative approach. And what I recommend is starting with the basic solution that works, and then getting AI to take its own solution and update it to make it better for what you actually want, rather than trying to get AI to do everything all at once. I find it can give you errors and then it gets confused. But this methodology just makes things work a little simpler, and I thought I would share it with you. All right, we'll see you in the next video.